Video is on. Let's see what we find here. I started my YouTube channel too in 2020 or 21. And I posted for 6 months. I posted for 6 months without any subscribers. I was getting views, so that was
good.
And so that was keeping me going.
Yeah.
People were commenting, and I was getting views. But then all of a sudden, one day, I had like my first day that I got a subscriber. I got like 30 of them, like 30 subscribers, and then it took me a year of posting to get to a point to where I can get it monetized.
Pardon my asking, but how many subscribers or views do you have to get to start seeing some?
So you have to get 1,000 subscribers first.
Okay.
And then 1,000 watch hours altogether.
1,000 watch hours. Okay.
Yep. And then so once you hit that mark, and then you're able to start earning and being monetized.
Interesting.
And I remember Father's Day 2 years ago, I got my first 25 cents. I was down about 3 hours away from here, and I thought that was pretty cool. I don't make a ton of money off of it right now anyways. Like I make every couple months I get like $100, but
it's something.
It is something. I don't.
Well, that's the cool thing I think about YouTube and all that stuff is that gets you what do you call it? Like
Exposure.
Yep.
I've got people that from all over the world comment on my videos, say they wish that I was, in their country, in their state. I've had people drive 9 hours across the country to come see me one morning.
Wow.
Like literally just got in their car at like 4 a.m., drove here. I worked on them for an hour and a half, and then they drove back. I've had some guy that came from London. He came to the East Coast in the States here to go to a family wedding that was already here, and while he was here, he decided to come and see me. So he flew one day. He took a day trip here on a plane in the morning, came and saw me. I worked on him for 2 hours, and then he flew back. He got a rental car and everything.
Nice. That's good.
And he's, and that's because he saw me on YouTube here, and so yes, the social media, I don't know. It's hard to call YouTube like social media in a way. It kind of is, but it also isn't. Like, it's a different style of it,
Yeah.
But I don't think it can be as toxic.
Yeah, well, I think as positive as it gets, it also has its downsides. I don't know. Like when something happens around the world or something happens, I don't know, everybody becomes like an expert at that problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the comments, and it's like, I don't know, before social media, at least when you wanted to comment on something, you had to be in a meeting, like face to face.
Yeah.
And so
you couldn't hide behind.
hide behind a camera.
Yep.
So.
And the facts. What's that game, phone or something like that, like phone tag or whatever, you like.
Oh yeah, you start with one thing and you end up with a.
And 100 people later, it's completely misconstrued.
Yeah.
And so me being a monetizer too, I get to see a side of YouTube that not a majority of people get to see, And I see male, female. I see the most countries that watch me. I see the most, the regions what are watching me. I see the age range. I get to see what they Google or what they're looking for. Like what YouTube searches they're using, and so I get a lot of information on people, so I can use that to get more attention.
Sure.
And I'm just a little channel, and this is all I do, so I don't even have that much persuasion in anything, that's not what I'm trying to do. But even just for me, sometimes when I pull up my YouTube channel, the shorts feeds pull up, and there'll be like a what's something I've seen lately? If you laugh, or it says something, don't laugh at this, or if you laugh, you're a bad person. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like people doing stupid things, but the screenshot for it, right? The image for it, the thumbnail,
Yeah.
is a girl in like tight yoga pants or something showing off her ass.
Of course, yes.
You know, or like it's like, okay, so they know what they're doing with that. That's marketing, you know, and that's the toxic side of it, you know, because then me being a male, a healthy male who has sex drive, you know, and is triggered by stuff like that,
Yeah.
that, you know, it catches me off guard, you know, and I find myself feeling some type of way, you know, and it annoys the shit out of me, you know, and, you know, so it's just like, but then, and then if, you know, and that's not what the videos are, you know.
Yeah.
You click on them and there's just a bunch of old people doing dumb things, and then all of a sudden at the last second it shows this picture of this, you know, this sexualized picture of someone, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, they're just doing that to get your attention. Clickbait, right?
Exactly.
Clickbait. And then YouTube also works with people because they know the algorithm too, you know, like they know what, you know, what can get you, you know, and I've been in marketing, you know, and I've done stuff like that, like not to that like same degree, but I know what marketing is, I know what sales is. Like there's this like hormone therapy clinic down in Lakeville.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone to them a few times, and I called them the other day, and I was wondering if they would work with the VA at all, and taking veterans to do hormone therapy and have the VA pay for it, you know?
Yeah.
And got off the phone with them, and just a couple of days later, I got a text message from the guy, this guy that I like have bullshitted with in the gym quite a few times, and he was trying to offer me a $50 off IV therapy anytime that I wanted to come in, you know? And I almost wanted to text him back and tell him, like, bro, it was way too salesy. If you're gonna text my phone, like, make it like you're just a bro. Be like, hey, what's up, dude? Like, hey, you know, like, I get my boss just gave me a few coupons of $50 off IV therapies this week, and I know you called in last week, and I wanted to just call and offer you first. But instead, how he texted me and what he said to me, I wanted to text him back, be like, less salesy. Like, so I see it, you know, but I see it everywhere and everything now, you know. You're just trying to sell me. You're just trying to market towards me.
How many sessions of like this you do, like a day?
Oh, right now, man, you're gonna be my only session of the week.
Well,
so I do not do a lot of sessions right now because I have been struggling with some health issues.
Yeah.
For a while now. It's one of the big reasons why I left everything kind of behind. But when in my peak of things, there was Mondays, I was doing 12 sessions a day.
12 sessions a day.
I would do 8 in studio, and then I would travel to a family's house, and I would go and do 2 to 4 there at their house, their family.
How did your hands feel?
My hands felt fine.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like, so, but I was also using this stuff called Kratom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know what Kratom is, but it's sold over the counter, and it comes from like Thailand and Indonesia. It's a tea, basically, and it's sold over the counter here. Like Holiday gas stations sell it, nutrition stores sell it. All the smoke shops started selling it.
Okay.
But it's an opioid. So it hits all the opioid receptors, and so it's a painkiller. Energy painkiller, gets you high. And so when I started the business in 2019, I also started taking it more because it was giving me energy and making me feel good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was going to develop an addiction to it. I had no idea. Like,
man.
I had no clue, like, that's where it was going. You know, I started taking it at 5 a.m. for my pre-workout, you know, because I'd get to the gym at 5 and I'd train, get my body warmed up and in the zone for the day. And I started taking that stuff because it helped me in my workouts. It helped me with my pain, helped me train harder,
Yeah.
lift heavier, not feel pain, gave me energy. It helped me a lot, And then it also, I remember where I was, what it felt like, and who was there. The first day where I was like, oh my God, I came down from it. It was like,
Oh, boy.
it was like 8 or 9 a.m. in the day at the gym.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I felt like shit. And I was like, oh fuck, I need some kratom to feel better,
Wow.
And so that was the first day that it started, and that was around 2019. And so I didn't realize what that meant or what that was. I just started taking it more, When I didn't feel good, when I was tired and didn't have energy, I would take it more,
Yeah.
And then a couple years of doing that, I realized that I had dependency on it, and I couldn't stop it. And I couldn't come off of it. And then I was scared as shit because it's an addiction,
Yeah.
And I didn't even see it coming. I had no idea, No clue what was happening, It was just stuff that I was buying from the place I was buying my vitamins and my pre-workout from, man.
Yeah, wow.
They sell kratom at gas stations right next to the 5-hour energy shots. And they look like 5-hour next to the chips. And they're in little packaging that looks like 5-hour energy shots. And they're called Feel Free. And,
Wow.
So it's a really evil thing that's masked because I was healthy, man. I was feeling good. I was motivated, and I was just in a really good place. I'd started the business, but it just got to the point to where wasn't sleeping very much, and I was just working, running 3 or 4 businesses inside of one business. I had an apparel line that I was working on, and there was just so much that I was doing, and the kratom really helped me be productive. Finally, the first time in my life I could focus. It was almost like an ADHD medicine for me, I could actually focus and get things done that I stuck to, Because I've had a really hard time with that my whole life, unless it's like a shovel, I can go dig a hole. But there was this, so finally I was getting things done, I was being successful, I was making money, I was growing in popularity, getting all the attention, and it was like God finally was rewarding me, thank you God, and it was all just awesome how it all started playing out. And then my life just started getting crazy, man.
Yeah.
I was dating this girl, and the relationship had a really hard time for a while, and your gut instincts, you just ignore your gut, and because you want to try and love someone, and I don't know, but so that just made things even crazier. So now I'm 2 years and 3 months sober. Okay, so
Nice.
I stopped taking it one summer, a couple summers ago, and I got really sick, and I've been really sick ever since. So I've had to cut down on stuff a lot, and
Yeah, well, just taking care of yourself.
yeah, and sleep, trying to sleep. That's the biggest thing. It's because you can sleep and fall asleep, but if you don't get into REM sleep, deep sleep, it doesn't matter. You could have 10 hours of just regular sleep, but if you don't hit any REM, it's not good.
Yeah.
And so I haven't hit REM sleep. I was actually, so the first year and a half probably, I was having 2 or 3 panic attacks every single night. I would wake up, grab my phone thinking I needed to call 911,
Wow.
I mean, I've had hundreds and hundreds of panic attacks, and it's traumatizing, I mean, when it doesn't, it just keeps happening, It's not like it just happened once. You're like, oh, that's what complex trauma is, because you have acute trauma where it's like just one thing happens,
Yeah.
and it traumatizes you, but then you have a reoccurring event like over and over and over and over and over again. That's complex trauma. And so I think I've developed PTSD from that a little bit, But yeah, I came off of it all and just kind of, I tried keeping my business running in Minneapolis for I think a year, And then finally, I just like something happened, and I was just like, "Fuck this! I can't keep doing this anymore. You know, I gotta take a break and take care of myself." And so I was able to step away from that and come here, bring my client load down by 70%. You know, because I got rid of a lot of the bills that I had to own a business down there. And it's crazy because I think I'm finally actually getting into REM sleep consistently now this past week. So I started taking cacao, turmeric, and ashwagandha before bed.
Oh, right, yeah, I've heard that. That's good.
And I'm telling you, man, I've had such deep sleep in my dreams that they're lucid dreams now where I can control things.
Oh.
And it happens, it's been happening every night now that I've been taking that stack. And I think that's really helping me a lot, you know, because the turmeric brings down inflammation. The cacao helps, actually, I don't know if you've heard it, but I think cacao helps with serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and so it helps relax you a little bit more. And then the ashwagandha is another relaxer, and it can also actually help with testosterone in some people too. So, but I just randomly, because I've been trying a lot of things in the past 2 years, man. Oh, dude, I'm tired of doctors and
trying to heal.
Figure it out, you know, because you go to the doctor and they're just like, here, take fucking Prozac, take Wellbutrin, which, don't get me wrong, that stuff works and does help people, and I started taking Prozac a couple months ago, and I think it is helping a little bit, but it also, the heat, it's not as hot anymore, so that's one thing that triggers me is the heat, because a lot of this stuff started happening in the heat.
Oh, really?
So when my body starts to get warm, I start having anxiety, and so it's a journey, man. I'm thankful for it. I'm a member of a sobriety organization, you know, so I go there almost every day. Every morning we have a meeting, and then I've gotten closer to God, and I've kind of really I've gotten an understanding of God that I think that a lot of people might not get, not through the Bible or through going to church, but just by going through stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Good. Everybody has their own journey.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people on my YouTube channel that like the fact that I'm very transparent with who I am, because there's a lot of people on social media and behind the cameras that
Fake.
that it's not that they're fake, it's just that they're not showing everything, you know. But I've also learned the hard way what happens when you show everything, because people will start using it against you, you know, like and I'm not saying that because they're bad people either, right? So I'm not trying to blame them, you know, because when you know, I've been in the psych ward, you know, a couple times. I've been to the mental health hospital, you know, I've had issues now, you know, I go to therapy, and I start opening up about that on my socials and stuff. And I've learned why a lot of people, like especially males, you know, why we don't speak up is because when we start speaking up, people will usually
perceive like you're weak or
you're crazy or you're a danger to people because you're saying you have mental health issues, you know. Which, like I said, I'm not saying that because I think that those people that are using it, they're not using it against you intentionally to hurt you or anything like that. Some of them might be, you know, but at the end of the day, I think we're all just human beings, and our goal isn't to hurt people. We just get influenced during the day, but because I'm dealing with a lot of family issues right now because of my speaking up, and because of all this stuff, and so, but I'm able to see my wrongdoings. I'm able to take responsibility for some things that I've done in a lot of this stuff, you know. So instead of, and that helps me with my anger towards them, you know. If they're using this stuff against me, it doesn't piss me off as much and affect me as much as it used to, you know. Whereas now I'm able to be like, well, Kevin, you know, you did hurt these people, you know, so what do you expect, you know? But then there's also another layer to it too, though. Is like, yes, I hurt them, but that doesn't mean that I deserve to be sit and be stoned all the time and just to let them stone me, you know, and not be happy. I still deserve to try and heal and get better and find some happiness too, you know.
Absolutely.
Instead of sit just under their gun for the rest of my life. You know, life is short, man, and like, we're not put on this earth to be miserable and angry all the time and full of hate, and you know, like, that's not what we're put here for, but we get pulled into that, you know. And so some people might not see my growth through this stuff, but what matters is I see it. I know deep down inside that I'm responding differently to things.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And that's the main part about all this right now, is that I know deep down inside that I'm a better person. And
as long as you do what you need to do to heal and to feel better with yourself, then, you know, all the external validation will not count. I mean,
well, yeah, because we can't, you know, I mean, I'm a Navy guy, you know. I was a hero at one point, you know. I mean, everyone was so proud of me and lifted me up and put me on their shoulders, you know, when I joined the Navy, you know. And then spend some years on this earth making some mistakes. Next thing you know, you're the villain, you know. And everyone hates you, you know. And it's that classic, like, I don't know, it happens, you know. But I don't know, life's crazy, man. You just gotta wake up every day and do your best.
Keep grinding.
And just keep grinding, man, till our last breath, I guess.
Keep grinding.
And don't be afraid to do things that make you happy too, though, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to find things, you know. It's hard to find happiness. You know, there's a lot of miserable people out there that, when you find something that makes you happy, they're probably them unconsciously the wrong way, you know.
Yeah.
They're unconsciously, it's you know, they're unconsciously hating on you. Because, so I have a story about that. When I was at a hospital recently for a couple months for mental health and recovery and stuff like that, and addiction. And while I was there was just this crazy spiritual experience where I started seeing all this stuff happening to these guys, these vets, right?
Yep.
So while I was there, we would get in group, and these guys would start opening up about what was happening, and they would start telling how their lives are falling apart. They checked in to get help and to be better, and all of a sudden their lives fall apart on the outside, right? So they're like, their significant others, wives, whatever it was, girlfriends, they throw their stuff out, they divorce them, they take their kids, they file restraining orders, like all the, like it was happening left and right for a while. And I was just like,
wow,
what the heck? Like, damn, dude, like that sucks. And all of a sudden I just like realized, I was just like, oh my God, like that's the spiritual warfare, right? That's the spiritual wars. Like, so we go to these hospitals and we go to these places, we admit that we need help, and so we're getting help, and we're going to these facilities that are full of healing, and so we're casting the darkness out of us, right? Because there's a lot of people that go to these places with dark souls and a lot of darkness in them, you know, anger and hate. And so, and I just use the sound or term devil because everyone knows what that is. Whether some people believe in it or not, I don't say that to try and, like, I don't think that everyone needs to call it that. That's just what I call it. But so the devil couldn't get to us in that we're trying to heal, we're trying to cast the devil out of us, right? So then all of a sudden what starts happening is the devil will start using the people on the outside, your family members and stuff, to try and bring you down, to try and make you angry again, right? And while I was in treatment, there was this one dude. He came in, man, and he was a heart attack survivor, and he was the most angriest dude I've seen in a long time. He was so pissed off all the time, and if you were happy, that made him even more pissed off. You know, if you were joked around, that made him more pissed off. You know, and then all of a sudden, I started seeing this transformation in him. You know, and he started smiling. He was happy and he was joking around. And all of a sudden, there was one day he came in and he wasn't mad anymore. And he said something and joked around, and it pissed me off. It made me angry. And I was like, I recognized that. I was like, oh my God. I was like, and when the group was over, I actually talked to him about that. I was like, hey dude, like, I just wanted you to know that like what you're doing is working, because the devil tried to get me, because I wanted to say something to him, you know, I wanted to like give him attitude or like bring him down, you know, cut him down because he was happy. And so I just thanked him. I was like, thank you, because you just, I don't know, I just learned a valuable lesson, you know, through experience. And I don't know, it's, I don't know, there's a lot more to life, I think, out there than we realize, and it can be kind of crazy to talk about. And
well, I guess, you know, sometimes your own experiences will make you realize stuff that you previously didn't know or you didn't realize. So you need to live in order to get to a point where you feel fulfillment and you feel happy with yourself.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes that takes a many falls and many, I would say, mistakes to get you to a point where you're like, I know what's good and bad for me, and now I know where to walk. So.
And that's the battle with addiction, though, is you know what's good and bad for you, but you still do it. That's the disease of it, I guess, is what they say. Some people think it's a disease, some people don't. But I spend majority of my life like looking at drug addicts, like kind of judging them.
Yeah.
And never really thought that I'd ever be an addict. But here I am, recovering addict now.
Yeah.
And I have such a different perspective on them, you know, on us. And it's a perspective that you can only get by going through it, you know, by experiencing it, the pain of it, and how hard it is. Like just this morning in the meeting, you know, I was just sitting there just like, I hate it, dude. I don't want it, man. I don't want to be an addict. It's hard, dude. It's really, it sucks, man. And
all the work that you put on yourself, like everything in life, you know, everything that is worth it you have to work for it. Everything. Like it's like going to the gym. If you want to back squat X amount of pounds, you need to work through it, and fail, and you know you get injured, and you get frustrated at yourself and stuff. But eventually, if you keep grinding and being consistent and showing up, you'll get it.
The gym can teach you a lot, you know. It really can. I mean, it can.
Yeah.
It's been a very, very, I mean, it hasn't been a big part. It's been my life since, I mean, for a really long time, it's been my life. It's been who I am. And it's kind of not like that right now. Because when you're sick, you can't really, because I also struggle with this Lyme disease stuff.
Oh, really? So you got Lyme?
Yeah. So when I got sober, it started getting really bad because of the stress from it, you know?
Yeah.
The stress from getting sober. It just was really taking me out. And I realized I've been sick since actually 2012 was when I first got bit, but I've been able to push through and not really have that many symptoms other than just pain and fatigue, you know? That was the biggest thing I struggled with for a while. But then all of a sudden, once I got sober, then my whole body just became weak and fatigued. But so when I try and train now and I try and go lift weights, you know, the workout will take me out for a whole week. Like whereas before, just, you know, it's crazy to think that way now, to feel that way. Like it's different now. So I'm stronger in a different way, like I can't, I've squatted thousands and pressed thousands of pounds, and now the strength that I have is different than the strength of the flesh. My spiritual strength now is what I'm really working on. My materialistic fleshy strength is not gone, but it's just not what it used to be, and that's really hard to deal with. And that's what happens when we age and we get older too. We lose physical capabilities. Our flesh suffers, but our spirits rise.
Yep.
And my flesh, if it was up to my flesh would keep me in bed all day and just lay there. But my spirit gets me out, gets me going. Because life can be challenging. And so my flesh is like, no, but not today. You remember what happened yesterday? And like the stress and the feelings are coming back. And my spirit's like, no, you will rise. What do you think so far?
It's weird because it's painful, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, you need to keep going because I feel relief.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird feeling.
And I'm using your own body oil too. So I don't know if you felt that. Obviously you probably did, but it helps me stick better. So as I'm sticking, I'm grabbing your fascia and I'm stretching the fascia as well too. So it's not just the muscles that we're working and stimulating. So that's another thing, is like I'm using your own natural body oil, the little that you have, to get a little bit of glide out of it. But there's been some spots where I've had to use.
No, but it's interesting because I feel my mom used to get massages back home.
Mm-hmm.
She would describe sometimes like she had like this like muscle that is just kind of like getting soft.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm feeling now. Like I feel like there's like.
Feel like it's just getting softer.
It's just I don't know.
Yep.
It's hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely feels good.
Yeah. And that goes back to the fact that I didn't go to school for massage. God gave me the gift of healing. God just gave me this insight, and like certain people, when you spend a lot of time alone, or you actually like listen and you're open to it, God will speak to you,
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that we need formal education on to learn and to build a base, but there's also a lot of things that we can just, we don't have to go to school to learn, There's a lot of things about this, stuff about massage that you can go to school, a lot of just useless information to fill your head with,
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of simple things that you learn by doing this stuff, and it's amazing, man. It's crazy too, because that's who Jesus was. So Jesus, he spoke on spirituality, but he didn't go to school for it. He wasn't taught. He didn't study like the main priests did back in the day.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. It was like they were all mad because they spent so much time going to school and studying and putting all this money into their education. Then all of a sudden, there was this bum, this homeless dude, this carpenter, this woodworker that just came out of nowhere and was saying all this stuff to people and bringing people together, people that hate each other, teaching people how to love each other. And it made them angry, and it made those people who spent all that money and that time going to school, because of course, I get it why, and I've dealt with that stuff with this massage in the beginning. I was afraid to tell people that I didn't go to school for massage and that I just learned this on my own, and then a few times the word got out and some people got jealous, and I felt a lot of the hate, and stones were getting thrown at me. And isn't that a crazy experience? Like, just something that I just like, Jesus to me isn't a part of a religion or a church or anything. He's just this dude back in the day that healed people. That was just this like homeless dude that, you know, like I said, he brought everyone together, you know, and I don't know, man. I'm starting to lean into and trying to understand who he is a little bit more, you know, and not in a toxic way. Because a lot of people can make it toxic. This one's being stubborn here.
I know.
For the most part, everything seemed to open up, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
you got through your triceps, delts, rotator cuffs, traps, lats,
Yep.
lower back, neck. So let's have you flip over now. I'm gonna turn the camera on.